every one of us, we have a chance to make a difference. So if everyone we stand together, then we can make the real impact to the environment. So this is what we do in Verden Solar. In Verden, our vision is that we want to see a world with 100% reliance on renewable energy. It's always in our heartbeat that one day, even our children, our grandchildren, they still be able to see the blue sky, white cloud as what we see, or even better from now. And our mission is to provide world-class solar solution and to deliver wow to our clients. We are always inspired and motivated by seeing a smile on the face of our clients, by giving more confidence to our clients, and they are able to share more good news about solar system to the people around them, so that more people, they know about solar system, more people, they are able to be participate in this solar system installation. And the purpose of Verden Solar is to make the world a greener and better place to stay. And we always believe the more we do, the more we install, the better we are in terms of living out this purpose. And the second one is to build a second home for Verdians. It's always in the heartbeat that we want to see people that in the work in Verden Solar, they are happy, they are able to grow in the company, they are able to make a better living, they are able to make a difference to the people around them. So this is always in the heartbeat of Verden Solar. And I would like to say nothing is possible unless we are able to have a team that believe in the vision, mission, purpose that we have. And we are truly blessed by the people that we have here. I do remember in year 2013 is me alone, solopreneur. And today, in 3 years' time, we are growing from 1 people to 28 people. So it's truly blessed. And in our principles, it's always start with purpose, people, product, and profit. So the people is always before the profit. Yeah. And some sharing about how solar system compared to renewable energy, other renewable energy source. I do believe a lot of people might ask, why don't we use turbine? Why don't we use like small hydro, biomass, biogas, and all those? But from actually in year 2012, Malaysia government with under SEDA, Sustainable Energy Development Authorities, they actually introduced a policy called feed-in tariff, where it is the starting of the policy where people start to look into renewable energy installation. And the result shows that out since 2012 to 2018, out of 566 megawatt system, the 376 megawatt system is actually solar PV. So it's contributed about 67% of the total installation. I guess why solar PV is more famous compared to other sources is mainly because solar PV system is something that we are able to install in a smaller scale, like houses, like even 8 pieces of panel, 10 pieces of panel, up to factory where we can install 1,000, 2,000 pieces of solar panels. And it's highly scalable to large scale solar where they can install up to few 100,000 pieces of solar panel. So that is the reason why solar PV is a better option compared to other renewable energy source in Malaysia at the moment. And from here, we can also see that currently, in terms of the energy mix that we have in Malaysia, out of 100%, 76% is still under non-renewable, which is mainly contributed by coal and natural gas. And the balance of 24% is renewable. And out of this 24%, 17% is the big hydro, or the famous that we know is like Bakun and all those. And the balance 7% will be by the solar, which is 4%. And the balance of 3% will be by the bioenergy, which is the biomass, biogas. And in terms of the growth that we can see since year 2015, the most significant contribution to the renewable energy generation comes from solar, where 552 megawatt growth in terms of solar PV installation compared to hydro, which is 9 megawatt. And Malaysia government, we do have our national sustainability goal, where we wanted to have 31% installed renewable energy capacity by year 2025. Currently, we are 24%. We are still 7% for the next 4 years. And we do believe, based on the trend that we see since 2015, majority will come from solar energy. And the next would be 40% installed renewable energy capacity in year 2035. And we hope that we can be part of this movement, the national movement that led by the Energy Ministry. So the next, I would like to go to what's the benefit of solar energy compared to conventional energy, and why solar is a better investment that you should consider. And there's 5 pointers over here. The first one is that by installing PV system, we are directly creating positive impact to the world, because the sources that we need via solar panel is the sunlight, where we know that sunlight, we like it or not, especially when Malaysia, we are in slightly above 3 degrees above the equator in this Klang Valley. We always have a sufficient amount of sunlight, so the generation wouldn't be an issue. And the next would be the emission. We know that byproducts of coal and gas, natural gas, is always the carbon dioxide, which is air pollutant, something that harmful to the environment. So by installing panel, we are able to create the positive impact to the environment. And the next will be, by installing panel, we are able to reduce up to 90% of our monthly bill. And later I will share with everyone how can we save this energy bill by installing panel. And the third one will be, by installing panel, we are protected from the future tariff hike. We know that by installing panel, we are actually putting the future energy bill on our own hand, which is on top of our roof. Because based on the data that we get since 2006 to 2011, there's 83% of energy hike in tariff hike in Malaysia in terms for residential. And we do believe that if this trend continue, then probably by the next 10 years, we might be able to see a tariff where it's close to 1 ringgit. And by installing panel, we are able to generating our own energy, which means that we are able to free from the risk of any tariff hike in the near future. And the next is we are able to being a role model to the next generation. I always happy to see our clients. I do remember, I do have a clients that I asked him, why you want to install panel? Instead of telling me I can save the energy bill, he actually shared with me, because I want to show my children that we need to be part of this. And he actually wanted to do that so that he's able to kind of like create awareness to his children. He's able to teach them how this being green, or also being, able to create positive impact to the energy. And I always believe people follow what they see, not just what they hear. So this is always something that in our habit. And the last reason I would say is we are able to improve the property value by installing panel. Just imagine if we are able to install the system where we are able to save 500 ringgit every month, then which is allow us to pay the installment, the mortgage loan for about 100,000 ringgit Malaysia. So definitely our new buyer that in future, they are more than happy to pay some premium in order to get this saving. And bear in mind, the policy will change from time to time. A lot of our customer that installed in 2013, he will come back, tell us that, can I install that system now? And we always tell them that, sorry, we can't, because the policy changed. And now we cannot install feed-in tariff system for you. Now it's the net energy metering. And then they will always say, why not? Why I didn't install it earlier? So this is always what happened to our customer. So I would always say that the best time is always now. Yeah. And just some introduction about NEM 3.0. Malaysia government, we introduced feed-in tariff in year 2012, and NEM 1.0 in year 2016. And this year, early this year, Malaysia government actually under SEDA, they introduced NEM 3.0 or NEM Rakyat, where we are able, by applying the quota, by installing the panel, we are able to save energy. So from the number 1 here, by installing the panel on top of the roof during the days when sunlight actually hits the panels are able to generate electricity, and this electricity are able to actually channel to our home usage, where all the energy generated will first consumed by our appliances, by our air cons, by our handphone charging at home. And some of the customers will ask us, how about if I cannot consume all the energy generated during the day? Then what happens is that those that access, we will temporarily channel to TMB. So from the situation here, we see that there is a 400 units access to the TMB. And during the night where panel don't generate electricity, we are using the electricity from TMB. And this is the 700 units that we see here. So for this scenario, we can see daytime, the customer consumes 400 units. Nighttime, customer consumes 700 units. Total consumption for the month would be 1,100 units. And this customer used to pay 500 ringgit monthly. And after he installed the solar panel, and due to panel actually generating 800 units every month, now he only need to pay 77 ringgit monthly. So total saving will comes up to 423 ringgit monthly. And this is how our solar system can help our clients to reduce up to 90% electricity bill under NEM 3.0 or under NEM Rakyat. And we are blessed to date. We have 500 customers that believe in us and give us opportunity to install the home solar system on top of their roof, which is equivalent to savings of 68 million for them in the next 25 years. And the next, I would like to share about some data about solar versus other investment. From the data that we get, to install 7.65 kilowatt peak system, the cost is about 31,000. If we include the 10 years maintenance, the annual return will turn out to be 6.38%. And if we install the battery system in the 11th year, the total return for the next 25 years annualized will be 8.35%. If compared to EPF, which is quite close, 6.38% compared to the 10 years average of EPF payout, 6.04%. And in terms of the 10 years FD, I do believe that currently the FD is at the low side, but based on 10 years average, it's close to 3%, and our 6.38% is slightly better. It's still much better compared to the FD rate. And this is mainly KLCI index. I don't see this is a share market. KLCI index 10 years back and today, the difference is just 0.02%. And personally, I do have a friends that they are able to generate consistently about 15% return, where it's a very lucrative, very good investment, I would say, in terms of share investment. However, the effort that they put in, the study that they need to make the 15 to 20% consistent return annually is still much more compared to investment in solar system, because by installing panels, what we need to do is just sit back, relax, and just let the panel and let the sun to work for us. So the last would be the mutual fund, where we get the source from public bank. This is level 3, which is the moderate risk kind of investment. The return is 4.35%. So that is some data that we able to gather by comparing solar investment compared to other investment. And there's some two consumption that we get here. The first is the data that we put in is there's no increase in tariff for the next 25 years. And also the return of EPF, fixed deposit, the KLCI index, and the mutual fund is based on the 10 years average data that we are able to gather. However, I wouldn't say that we can only go green via solar panel. I do believe that ultimately the purpose, in Verden Solar is we want to make the world greener and cleaner place to stay. So it's really solar is just one of the methods, and we can choose to install panel, or we can use other medium to reach out to make the world a better place by reducing the the consumption that we use by using a more power efficient or energy efficient appliances, by going into probably in future electrical vehicles, and also by using more green products, by supporting more like a company that using renewable or sustainable materials for the product that they make. I think we are able to make some positive impact to the world. And in Verden Solar, every year we also do take up the partial of our profit to make the world a better place to, greener and better place to stay. So we call it a CSR fund, and this is some of the things that we do for the people that need us. And I would really like to encourage everyone that's care enough to join our green movement, and let us be the part of the solution and not the problem. And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Zeth. And we are now in the time for Q&A. And if you have any questions for Zeth, you can drop them on the chat box, or if you're watching this live on Facebook, you can actually drop your questions on the comment section. So now let's just move on with the first question on our Zoom here. The first question is, what is the impact of solar power on carbon market, carbon trade, carbon price in the future in Malaysia? And I think it's kind of continued here. In Malaysia, solar power, one of the world's bank instrument for carbon emission reduction in Malaysia. What is the impact of this on the market?
Okay, what's the impact of the solar power on the carbon market, carbon trade, carbon price, and future of Malaysia? I personally, I think in Malaysia, we are still don't have a very clear policy in terms of the carbon market or carbon trading. So currently we are mainly on installing the panels and reducing the energy for the own consumption. We are still looking for the more policy like that from our government. And in terms of future in Malaysia, in terms of solar, I do believe that based on what I shared just now, the renewable energy installation will be significantly from the solar energy. However, we do hope that one day we are able to move from the current where we need the subsidies from the government, move into something that we are able to generate the electricity for our own consumption without applying quota from the government. So probably some system that with battery, where we see the EV is a trend now, and hopefully by having the volume, the battery price will reduce from year to year, and we will able to see that possible in the near future.
All right, thank you. The second question is how to determine our goals and result on carbon reduction after applying solar power in an organization.
How to measure, I mean, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I do believe that if everyone that actually installed the solar system, we will be actually giving them access to a solar monitoring system where they are able to know how much energy they generated today, this year, this month, or even up to last 50 minutes. So, and from there, they are able to know how much CO2 reduction throughout the day, throughout the month, and also throughout the years. Yeah.
Right. So the third question is, what is the lifespan of a solar panel?
Okay. So the warranty of the solar panels, product warranty is 12 years, performance warranty is 25 years. And generally we can see that easily more than 30 years in terms of lifespan. But however, having said that, the performance of the panel will drop from years to years. And based on the current technology, the performance that guaranteed by the panel manufacturer is that 0.55% annually. So to make it into numbers, which is after 25 years, our home user can still expect at least 83% of the output compared to now. Yeah.
Great. Another question here is, what's the net efficiency rate of the solar panels, particularly with reference to house facing direction? For instance, facing east versus facing west houses.
Okay. So in terms of facing, I need to say that the data that we get in Malaysia is still very less. So in Verden Solar, we actually do our own data gathering, and hopefully we are able to get more data to know which direction is actually better, because based on the paper, we know that south is always the better option compared to west, and then east, the last will be the north. But however, from the data that we gather based on currently is we are study based on 120 houses. Surprisingly, the best direction is north, and then the next will be west, east, and south. However, this is the data that we gather in Verden Solar, so it's not something final, and we are still making our own apps that we wanted to gather more this kind of data. So hopefully one day we are able to install and able to advise our clients based on the real data that we are getting. And this is more closer to the mission that we want to provide world-class solar solution. Yes.
There's a question on Facebook here. It says, would a self-powered system as a no TNB make sense on the current tariff?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Would a self-powered system, no TNB, as in no without any TNB, will it make sense on the current tariff?
Okay. Personally, I don't think is something that is famous at the moment. Probably the clients that ask is mainly on the self consumption, where they need to install their battery systems and use it for the nighttime consumption. So I can give two examples. We do have clients that actually don't connect to the TNB, where they are fully on the self-consumption. The first kind of clients would be those they know that during daytime they already need a lot of energy, so they install the panel without battery system just for their daily consumption, and they are able to consume 100% of the energy generated. So that is the first kind of clients. And we do have the second kind of clients. They are willing to pay the extra premium for the battery system in order for them to be they call it off-grid, or they call it not tied up to the TNB. And I wonder, I can ask this client, I mean, why you want to spend almost triple of the normal price to install the battery system? And this client is a bit different, because he said he's almost retired soon, and he actually wanted to install a system now, so that in future he no need to bother about paying the bill. He said he don't want to, after retired, then if he don't have the money to pay bill, he need to get the money from the children. So I think it's a bit interesting based on the reason. But however, if based on the current situation, since we are able to channel or to temporarily export to the TNB during the daytime for the access, it's kind of like virtual battery for us. TNB is kind of like work as a virtual battery for us during the daytime, and nighttime we just take back from the TNB and we just pay the difference. So there's no need and or extra premium for us to go into a battery system at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So
however, this is just my opinion.
Yeah. So yes, another question here is, any comment on how far we have achieved grid parity for solar power in Malaysia?
Okay. So for the electricity bill in Malaysia, we are still relatively cheaper compared to like Australia and all those. And in here, we are 57 cents. And since 2011, where the tariff hiked from 2006, which is about 32 cents to 57 cents, the highest tariff, we are still at 57 cents. So if we need to install panel, I think the payback for the system probably will be about 12 years. So we still need to wait, probably, I don't know, based on government policy, something that I read from the ST reports, the target will be 2027. However, based on the current panel increasement and current price hike in terms of installing panels, I think probably we might need slightly longer period. Yeah.
And here's a question about the return of investment. So how many years do we get back the ROI?
Okay, so for houses, generally the customer will install from 10 pieces of panel up to maybe 27 pieces of panel. So, and due to the economies of scales, for the 10 pieces of panels, probably ROI will be about 6.5 years. Up to the maximum, which is 27 pieces of panel, the ROI will be something close to 5 years. Yeah. So it's about probably 15% to 20% ROI, simple ROI. Yeah.
All right. And what's the ratio between the amount of electricity saved and amount of solar panels installed? And continue on. How do I know how many solar panels I need to buy to reduce half of my TNB bill?
Okay. So when customer ask me this question, I always tell them, when it comes to designing a solar system, it's always based on 3 criteria. The first criteria would be how big is your roof? Because we can only install as big as the roof that you have. So first criteria will be the size of the roof. If the size of a roof can install maximum 15 panels, then that's the maximum that you can install. The second one would be how much energy that you are consuming or you're paying to TNB every month, because we don't want to generate electricity that is more than what you consume. So that would be the second option. The third one would be always your budget, because end of the day, we need to fit the investment back to your own comfortable budget. Yeah. So to answer that, the ratio, we don't have a solid answer, because in Verden Solar, we always customize based on customer need. So it could be their roof size, it could be the saving that they want to achieve, it could be based on the budget that they have. So it can be 10 panel, 11, 13, 14, 15, up to 27 pieces of panel, which is allowed by the government.
Here's a very practical question here. Is it better to do new roofing prior to solar panel installation?
Yes, it depends on the condition of the roof. If the roof is already leakage and all that, I would definitely recommend or encourage to repair the roof before install the panels. However, by installing panel, it's kind of like create a protection, a layer of protection for the customers, because imagine the sun and the rain used to be directly penetrated on the roof, and now there's a gap, there's a solar system on top of the roof. So it kind of like create a protection to the roof. But having said that, if the leakage is already there, then definitely you need to solve it before we install the panel.
All right. Another big question here is, can Verden sell solar system to Sarawak?
Wow, this is something interesting. I have to admit that we haven't at the moment, but for us, everything is possible. We might be able to look into that. Yeah.
All right. We're just gonna take one last question since we are running out of time here. And here's a dying question that everybody wants to know about Verden. So what PV panel and inverter brands do Verden provide?
Okay. So for PV panels, we mainly just focus on the tier 1 panels. The majority that the panels from Verden will be Canadian Solar. However, sometimes we do use QCell or JA, Jinko, or Longi, depends on the availability sometimes. And in terms of inverter, majority of the inverter from us would be Solis, and sometimes we do use Huawei, sometimes do use Fronius, depends on the requirement of the customer. But the standard package will be always Canadian Solar plus Solis inverter package. Yeah.
All right, that's about it. And so thank you once again, Zeth,